your way onto your back body. No need to have anything around at this point. Feel free to wiggle yourself into that position. And you can have your knees bent to begin, or they can be long. We'll take the first few moments here just to find ourselves here, to feel ourselves on the ground, and to begin that little bit of anchoring down to earth. A way of connecting yourself into this time and space. And as you start to settle here, can you start to feel out all those areas on your back body that are connected to the mat, to the ground, whatever's underneath you? And can you go from top to bottom, just exploring the different weights of your body on the ground? And you might notice some areas have a little bit more weightedness. Some areas are a little bit lighter, maybe they curve away. And then they rejoin the earth again, creating some weight, some grounded, some connection. And see if you can use this little practice as a way to settle the mind, as a way to gather your thoughts into this physical body, and to notice areas of sometimes holding or resisting the ground, or resisting that bit of gravity. We kind of need a bit of that to stay upright. But see if you can let some of that go. It's a little softening through the head, through the neck, the jaw, to the shoulders, the ribs, the belly, the hips, thighs, knees, calves, and feet and toes. And with this softness, I invite you to bring one or both hands to your belly, but see if you can keep everything pretty gentle, pretty soft as they come to that spot. And take 2 or 3 breaths into your hands that rest on your belly. And allow yourself to liberate your breath. So really find that expansion with the inhale. And that little bit of muscular tension with the exhale, the transversus. So the inhale, you're just allowing yourself to create space. You're allowing yourself to open up. You're breathing in a bit of love into this area. And the exhale, same amount of love, just a little bit of muscular work. Take one more breath, filling up a lot. And exhaling a lot. Bring the hands to the ribs. Maybe they slide just on top, or elbows slide out a little bit wider, and the hands can wrap around, or the thumb wraps around to the backside, fingers on the top. And start to breathe into your rib cage, and see if you can breathe really wide into the ribs and out. And using your intention here to find expansion, this time through the middle part of your torso. And this cage-like structure, it's protecting all of these awesome organs that keep us alive. But we also need to have a little bit of flexibility there. So see if you can use the breath, the diaphragm, to create some space, to widen, and to perhaps shrink again with the exhale, still using that little bit of muscular tension. Take one more breath. And exhale the breath out. Bring one hand up towards the heart. Maybe the other hand lands on the other side. Elbows by your side, shoulders open. And breathe in deeply into belly, ribs, all the way up into that heart space. And exhale from the heart, through the ribs, down to the belly. Take a few more rounds of 3-part breath. Inhaling, filling up. And that exhale, empty from the top all the way down. I invite you, as you follow this breath, to pause for a moment at the top, to feel that little bit of retention. And once you're done with that, exhaling fully, that muscular tension, pushing the air out from the outside in, and you might pause at the bottom and just notice what happens there. Feeling out all sides of the breath. Do a couple more rounds like that, and your pause could be a second, it might be 4 seconds. And as you find this breath, notice what it feels like to be really empty, and what emptiness means to you, what it feels to you, what comes up for you. And with that process of inhaling, inflating, how that feels. And then when you're full, right to the brim, holding there, and what comes up for you on that part of the breath? How does that feel? And of course, releasing whenever you need to, repeating that cycle about 2 more times. Last breath like that here, filling up. And last exhale, whenever you're done, just letting it go. Let the breath come in and out as it needs to. Whenever you get to that point, let the hands slide down by your sides again. From where you are, bending knees if they're not already bent, paralleling your feet. And start by drawing the right knee in towards your chest, giving that knee a gentle squeeze. And again, we're finding that ease, that little bit of releasing into the earth. And I'd like you to notice as you draw the right knee in towards your chest, your ribs, what starts to lift away. And it might be that low back, the tailbone, that's okay. Just noticing that that happens. And then push the knee into the hands and let your tailbone drip down towards the ground. Just notice how you can find that little bit of arch to the low back. Draw it in again. Let that low back curve in. Pause there. Breathe with that little bit of tension again, drawing you to chest. And this time, lengthen your tailbone a little bit away from you as you keep the knee there. Keep the knee nice and close. Start to draw it a little bit towards the left side, but as you draw it left, keep the right hip heavy. So we're getting a little bit of internal rotation or adduction. And then draw it back to center. Let the knee open out towards the right side. And it might feel a little bit different. Maybe it's easier going one way versus the other. Try to keep the left hip heavy this time. Nice. Draw it back into center. Let that work go. Interlace the hands behind the back of your right thigh, your hamstring. Start to push the sit bone down towards the ground as you reach the heel up towards the ceiling. As you lengthen out through the back of the leg, push the leg into hands and find that bit of tension here, pulling hands back towards your heart space. Open wide through your chest, your collarbones, and see if you can find strength as you stretch or reach out long through the back of the leg. That little bit of tension here, pulling with the hands, pushing with the leg. For 3. See if you can soften shoulders down for 2. Take 1 more full breath in. Now keep that work leg to sky. We're gonna soften the grip with the hands. Bring the right hand to the outside of the right leg and tip the leg open towards the right side. Bring the left hand to left hip and anchor it down. Maybe you have some space here. The foot starts to draw out and you can use that right hand as a little kickstand, or you can use something beside you like a door or a wall. And we're gonna see about holding this space, this shape here. Hips nice and level, even to mat. Option to let the left knee drift out towards the left side like a half cobbler's pose or Baddha-Konasana. So you're rolling towards the outer blade of that left leg, or left foot rather. Breathe into this open shape of the legs, the hips. Tip your tailbone slightly forward so the low back is long. Breathe into the back of the heart. Use your exhale, left knee to sky, right hand pushes right leg up. Start to climb up your leg, chin towards your throat. And as you climb up, maybe hands reach towards the ankle. Let the low back slightly push into the mat. Maybe you start to lift up a little higher towards that right foot. Push the heel to sky, sit bone to ground, really strong through back of the leg. For 3, for 2, and on 1, keep the leg up, lower down through the upper body. Let's start to lift the left leg up, cross the right leg over left, hooking the feet. Hands can be by the side, slightly wider than that distance. Start to lift your feet up towards the ceiling. Start to lift your hips up towards the ceiling. So notice your feet want to go back behind you. Keep them straight on top of your hips. Keep on drawing up as you hollow through your belly. Stay heavy through the low back, the shoulders. And slowly for my count of 5, we're going to exhale and send your feet towards the mat in front of us or the wall in front of us. So lowering little by little. Low back nice and long and heavy. Notice when it starts to peel away from the ground, that's your cue to stop. And I said count to 4, I didn't count. So whenever you get to that point now, you're gonna slowly start to draw the legs back up. For 3 and 4. Let's go down for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Draw up for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's do that one more time. 4, 3, hollowing through the belly, 2, and 1, low back nice and heavy, draw it up for 4, 3, really squeezing inner thighs here for 2, and 1. Release the legs, bring both feet to mat. Start to draw the left knee into chest, give it a gentle squeeze, notice what happens to your sit bone. Notice how the low back might curve, take a breath in here, full breath out. Start to push the knee into your hands here. Let your low back start to lift away from the ground. Just finding that feeling here. Draw it in. Keep that drawing in action. Tip your tailbone away from you so low back slightly lifts. Perfect. From here, start to draw your left knee to chest. This time, we're going to draw it over towards your right side, keeping your left hip really heavy. Just finding that little bit of internal work, that little bit of adduction. And then let that go, come out towards your left side, opening up through the hip. Just a moment here, because we'll do this mostly with the leg up in the ceiling, towards the ceiling. Draw it back in, hands behind the leg, reverse your interlace of hands. So probably the more awkward way of feeling it. Let the left sit bone get heavy, left heel to ceiling. Breathing into the back of the leg. See if you can find that bit of tension, pulling with the hands, pushing through the leg for 3. Really lengthening out as much as you can. Option to curl your toes back towards you for 2. Nice. On 1, keep that work. Left hand to outside of left leg, right hand to right hip. Start to open it up. Left foot shoots out, and maybe right knee comes out towards the right side, coming onto the outer blade of the right foot. Tip your tailbone slightly forward, breathe into its open shape for 3, for 2. On 1, draw the right knee up, push the left leg up. Start to climb up your left leg. Climb it up, start to pull it a little bit forward. Notice if your tailbone curves up, send it long in front of you. Breathe here for 5. Soften shoulders from ears for 4. Look up towards that top foot. 3, 2, and 1. Let go of that foot, lift the right leg, cross your legs, little scissor squeeze of inner thighs, arms by your sides. Take an inhale here. Use your exhale, curl your tailbone up, send the legs up towards the ceiling. Feel that little bit of muscular tension through the lower abdominals. Find that little hugging in. Take another breath in. Use your exhale slowly for 4, 3, we'll start to lower. Low back stays heavy for 2. And you're going to go to that point where your low back wants to peel away. That's 1. Lift it up for 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do that 2 more times. 4, 3, 2, and 1. So keep soft through the shoulders for 3, 2, and 1. Last time. 4, 3, 2, 1. Last time. Up. 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the legs, draw them in. Give yourself a little squeeze, a little rock side to side. Let that go. Maybe a couple circling actions through the knees. Going the other way.